Steven Gerrard's not going to change the way he plays. I know there was a lot of comments post the Livingston game about why he kept the two central midfielders on the pitch, why he didn't change it to try and get the breakthrough. But the way he plays his system, they're integral, aren't they, with having such the fullbacks so high up the pitch?
Yeah, and I can understand why people are asking that question. And I've asked to show a little bit of footage of the Livingston game, just to give some examples. Listen, the clean sheets are really important, so that extra security of the two holding midfielders is important, but the way they function, look how high Barisic is there on the left hand side. He puts great delivery into the box, and the way the two central midfielders work, one always goes to a full-back position to collect the ball and start the ball from there, the other one takes up the central one again. Barisic is highlighted wide on the left, and when the ball gets knocked into Hadji, it's then Tavernier who's wide. Now if you've got your two best crossers of the ball, which I believe Tavernier and Barisic are, in those areas, you're going to get quality. What they then need is someone to go and attack the ball. I don't think Morelos has done it more or enough for that. I think guys like Itten, Roof coming in will apply some pressure, but I can understand why there's people ask the question, but that is the reason why two holding midfielders are important, because it releases the fullbacks high positions. The wide players that are not traditional wingers come inside the game, and then there has to come up more goal threat, and that's why I think those players continued in the game for Stephen.
Without doubt, and that's exactly the way they'll go going forward as well, because you want that security. You know, you're getting to rotate it, you're getting the ball ticking over from side to side. For me, I would like to see them probe a little bit more as well. They too, you know, rather than just be that security. But they do, the Barisic, and we've said it time after time, Barisic and Tavernier, their assist rate is remarkable.
But see, the thing is, Walter, in your time, you had the luxury of having some amazing strikers. You had McCoys, and you get Hateleys, and you get Boys and Millers, and all these types of guys. You must be frustrated watching that as a manager and seeing so many crosses going into the box and not having anybody go and attack it.
I think you know, when you look at Rangers, you know, over the last years, they've been a little bit like that. You know, when they do get into the last third of the pitch, there's always with the likes of Mark Hateley, you had an easy option.
Of course.
You know, the players at the present moment, they've got to find a way through. They've got to thread the ball through. It takes a lot. People underestimate it a lot of the time. The lads that are involved in Scottish football, the managers and the coaches do a really good job. They've maybe not got the best players in the world, but they can set up their team to make it really difficult. So if your own players, Rangers and Celtic, where they've got to break down people every week, it becomes very difficult, and you've got to have a high standard and maybe a little bit more individual ability than a lot of them are showing at Rangers at the present moment. We could be doing with just a little bit more of a difference from the players that we've got. Even someone that's good in air.
Well, Itten could be that guy, couldn't he?
And Itten, who was new, may prove to be like that.
Well, what I was going to say there in terms of the intensity, because when you're actually playing that, teams are set up really well there. How important is it for the intensity, you know, try and overwhelm teams tend to make a mistake?
Well, Rangers, you've always got to try and do that. But again, you know, this year, with not losing a goal, that's an important factor. Sometimes you can get carried away by the fact that you've got to go and the pressure's on you to win a game, the pressure's on you to score a goal, and you can leave yourself a little bit bare at the back. So they seem to have reached a reasonable balance over the last year or so, Rangers, but there's just that little bit extra needed. And hopefully, you know, one or two of the new boys can come up with something.
I think we saw last week, Emma, and it was towards probably the last 10 minutes of the game, there seemed a desperation from Rangers, because they knew the clock's ticking down. There seemed to be more. Those two holding midfielders suddenly had broken ranks a little bit, where one was actually making the edge of the box, and there was more bodies within the 18, the penalty yard, so the penalty yard box. So I'm needing that desperation if I'm a manager watching from my side, thinking, I want that from the first minute. It shouldn't have to be wait.
It has to be more.
It has to be all the time,
Alec,
to win a game of football, especially when you're playing against a team that are, as Walter said, coaches are good here. So they work hard all week to set up a team to be hard to beat, and if they're going to be disciplined for the full 90 minutes, you have to be prepared to take risks for that full 90 minutes as well. If you're playing with two holding midfielders, you've got enough security. We need players hitting the box if you're a manager, because that's when it creates a little bit of chaos.